I once stood in a completely empty office room with just my laptop, kneeling on the floor with my laptop on a chair, and my voice echoed off the walls as I delivered a presentation to absolutely no one. And you might think that's completely crazy, but that moment actually changed a lot for me. Let me take you right back. So about 8 years ago, I left the company that I was working for, determined to start my own thing. Went out, took a risk, invested a lot of money into learning how to run an online business back before online businesses were really a thing. So I was a struggling entrepreneur with a very empty bank account, but very, very big dreams. And I scheduled my first webinar, right? My very first ever webinar on money mindset. I was convinced this was going to be my big break. Anyway, the clock ticked down to the start time. I was all ready. I had my cup of tea. I had my laptop set up on this chair. And as we got closer and closer to it, no one was showing up. 5 minutes before showtime, 0 attendees. 1 minute before showtime, still 0 attendees. And the start time, you guessed it, 0 attendees. In that moment, I obviously had a choice. I could wallow in disappointment, go and get a glass of Riesling and take it into the shower with me while I cried. Or I could just present it anyway. I could use that opportunity to practice, to refine my message, to get better, to show up for myself, even when no one else did. And I chose to do that. Now, here's the thing. I realized later I actually had a tech issue and there was a handful of people trying to get on. But at the time, I didn't know that. So what I did for the next hour, and I think it was about an hour and 15 minutes, is I showed the fuck up. I delivered that webinar with every ounce of passion and determination that I could. Every little bit of energy, even though I was speaking to the void of the internet, like literally no one. Did it kind of feel a little bit ridiculous? Yeah. But what happened is that day actually marked an incredible part in my journey, if I'm going to use the word for it. Because I had that experience, it actually made me so much more resilient as a business owner. And it taught me that whether I was showing up and creating content when I had 0 followers, if I was running a workshop and I had 80 seats and 8 people turned up, if I was hosting an event that no one showed up for, if I was just doing all this stuff with no one there to see me, but I pretended as if hundreds of thousands of people were watching me. I showed up consistently. I poured my absolute heart into everything I was doing. And then you fast forward to today where all that energy I put out actually matches up in reality. And I do have hundreds of people that watch my webinars. I have millions of people that watch my TikToks. My workshops and events do sell out. But here's the real plot twist. All those numbers don't mean shit. What was the most important out of all that time showing up and being there, even though it was for no one else, was actually what happened inside of me. It really gave me the ability to stay true to myself, to hold my energy, to hold my power, to not rely on anyone else, to not just wait for the energy and wait to feel good about it and then show up, to be able to create that momentum and energy from within me, not from something external. And that's when I talk about having a bulletproof business and a bulletproof mindset in your business. That's what I really mean, is your ability to trust yourself, hold yourself, show up anyway, show up regardless of any outside validation, through the ups and the downs, the good reviews and the bad reviews and the great clients and the shitty clients. You can still show up because you know that your worth is not tied to that metric of how many people showed up. So here's the $1 million question for you. Are you really willing to show up even when the room is empty? Even when you're not speaking to anyone? Even when no one is listening and no one gives a fuck? Are you ready to share your truth and stand in your power and grow your business and fucking be obsessed with it even when no one's watching? Because let me tell you, that is where the magic happens. That is how you create a reality where everyone is watching and everyone wants what you have to offer. The stage is whatever you make it, and the spotlight is on you, regardless of anyone else putting it on you. You put it on yourself. So it really comes down to how willing are you, how willing are you to show up even when no one's watching?